This time on Blake Builds. Evan finds a new alternative to trousers. Richard practices his new vanishing act. And we get our hands on a new tool.
Show us your end, mate.
Buy me a drink first.
We thought for episode 10 we'd do a quick roundup of what we've been up to in the previous 9 episodes. I can't believe it's nearly 2 years since we started this project by purchasing some land. Luke's only given me 90 seconds to run through it, so here we go. First, we did the difficult task of negotiating some purchasing of some land. We then met with our architects to design and draw up plans for our logistics hub, our 8-bay vehicle workshop, and a community hub, a passion project of mine, linking the 2 buildings. Then we procured a digger, a dumper and a telehandler to work on that land. We got Geodyne in to test the land beneath our feet to work out the construction methods needed in order to build the buildings. Patiently we waited for planning permission. We got planning permission, but we're still waiting, believe it or not, for the final discharge of some conditions nearly 2 years on. But there you go, wonders of councils. After being given planning permission, we discharged the conditions to enable us to start work below ground. This enabled us to start digging the Swale Ha-Ha. Into spring now of 2024, and we have started carving out the footprint of building 1. We discovered a manhole that wasn't on any plans, and we called in the pipe inspectors to have a look to investigate it. Then we did all things drainage by burying our biodisc packaged sewage treatment plant and our full retention separator, which definitely did not float in heavy rain. We then did our deep excavation pipe laying, which is another skill as well, using trench boxes and doing that, and apparently we did that in, I'm saying we did it in 7 days. And we are now almost in real time, in this episode, going to look at putting in bolt boxes and digging holes in ground. But first, not there yet, might drop it. Blake Builds building it right. We don't need this bit, so I just thought I'd throw it about. Do with that cable ties. Well, I only dropped one bit, didn't I? So there you go, could have been far worse. You can see Evan here doing a bit of woodwork. This is shuttering or formwork, and this sets the dimensions of the actual pit and the top finished height. You use the top of it in order to set the height. Here is the drawing for the foundation pads for building 1. The ones with the red checkered are the ones that need to be reinforced. In this drawing you can see actually how a bolt box works. There's a wax cone with a bit of metal at the bottom with some bolts in, and then the actual stanchion or column sits on top of that, and you bolt the building down onto it.
Luke here, your local friendly cameraman. Apparently the guys are doing some CBR testing on the land, I've just heard. So let's go and see what the heck CBR testing is. Just did my own piece to camel.
Is it?
Walking over here, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's here. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. Is that on?
It's on. What's happening here then?
So we're having CBR testing. So Cole from Geocon. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, Geocon. You see how he didn't speak then? He's doing a bit of CBR testing, which is really cool. So we have to test the ground, as you would have seen in an earlier episode, for its stiffness and how well it's going to bear any weight. And we have to do that throughout the project to make sure it's all right. So we've actually dug off, as you can see, loads of excavation, I'm sure you've been watching. And we're now at a point where we've got to do some more testing, really, more for peace of mind, make sure we've got bits of paper to back us up, even though you can tell it's quite hard, you need a bit of paper to do that. So Cole's actually set this kit up, and I'm going to take his job over and explain a little bit about it, if you like.
Okay.
So what
is it, first of all, CBR testing? What does that even stand for?
Oh, no. I'll have to look it up. It stands for California Bearing Ratio.
We're not in California.
No, I know that, but the Yanks like to have a standard on everything, don't they? And it has to bear their name, I think. So now I'm becoming a CBR tester. So we've got a plate here. This is a set size. Then you've got dial gauges here, and they're measuring the deflection with the pressure on it. There's a load cell, very accurate load cell, hydraulic ram, and we're using the digger as weight, basically, in order to push down. And then basically what we do is, well, I don't, because I'm not qualified to do and I haven't studied geology, but basically you put pressure on this ram, which pushes this plate into the ground, and then you measure the deflection at set pressures, and actually the rebound as well, and from that you can calculate the stiffness of the ground, rather than just going, yeah, that's quite stiff. But this clay, actually, I reckon you can make a pot with.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, pot some jit clay.
And is the ground good then? Are we good?
I think so.
We can build on it.
I hope so.
It'll be all right. We're a bit far down the line now, so. No, it's fine. It doesn't mean that we can't build on it. It just means how much build up and what we've got to do.
Understood.
And we knew that from the initial testing, exactly what it was, but now we've got it dug off. We're doing specific testing to reaffirm and make sure that in these exact conditions that they are still the same.
Fantastic.
Cue big montage of overflying drone stuff.
Bev.
Hello. All right. Back again, back up against it. Back concrete on again in a couple of days' time. And we've got loads of work to do, as usual. It's that thing where we're trying to push on, but also trying to organise everything to the point where it's going to go smoothly. But sometimes you have factors like rain and stuff like that. So we've got concrete on, and we realised now it's going to rain on Thursday when it wasn't going to when I booked it. We've also realised the limitations of the Spotman and the iDig system, in that really we need a GNSS receiver to mark out the pads, and we also need one on the digger at the same time, so you can set the level as well as sort of the location. So that set us back a little bit. We booked some CBR testing, which in hindsight we didn't really need, but we weren't too sure if we needed it or not for the foundation pads. So that took up a lot of time, because you need the digger as like a, call it cantilage, don't they? Where you can press up against the digger with the CBR testing equipment. So that took the digger out of action. So yeah, it's just one thing after another. Ollie wasn't very well over the weekend. I had to leave early last night because my dog decided to nearly die. He's all right, for everyone concerned. So now I'm cutting up some rebar, because we're going to reinforce all of, well, not all of the pads. There's about 8 pads that we've got to reinforce. The boys are out there connecting up the shutter in, well, fixing the shutter in and getting the level right. I spent the last couple of days making. And then we've got Ollie on the digger, and we've got Chubber on the dumper, and they're just digging out the last of the foundation pad. So it's all go. We're here at, what time is it now? It's about 5 now. So we'll be here for a few more hours. It's going to be a lot of late nights tonight, this week, but it's what it is. It's all right, we'll get it done.
So here we are, quite late on in the afternoon, putting our shuttering, I suppose, around our pad stones. There will be those out there that say this is absolute ridiculous, what a waste of time. Just dig a hole and fill it with concrete, and you just tamp the top off, set the height, and it's done. But I've been there, I've seen it done. I've seen massive variations in buildings that have been put up on the piss. We've seen bolt boxes that have only got 3 threads on them that get blagged through. We're not doing that, we're trying to build it right. So we've got these frames that we've put in, this shuttering that we've put round. This is at foundation height, so the top of it is at finished foundation height. And from that we're going to suspend our bolt boxes. Part of the reason for this is also that we want to suspend our bolt boxes and leave them there for a while, because we can't get our surveyors to come at the same time as our concrete. So we're going to put it in. The surveyors are coming tomorrow to position their bolt boxes, but the concrete's not coming until Monday, Tuesday. So it'll be all right. It'll be fine. They'll be in for a few days, and we're going to use a theodolite and string line basically to double check ourselves by giving ourselves separate reference points to make sure that the bolt boxes and the shuttering doesn't move. And we'll show you a little bit. I'm sure we'll show you these cones which give you a element of movement and flexibility on the bolts, but it's not as much as you think. You've got to be pretty accurate. So, as always, the aim is accuracy and to do it right, I suppose. Certainly. Back spot on, front wants to go over about 5 mil. Spot on. That way about 10 mil. Bit more, same again, sorry. Go on, keep going. Yeah, and then this way about the same. Front wants to go that way, 5 mil. Yeah, spot on, that's fine.
Cool. Summer's over, September, that's it. Autumn, winter, game over. Didn't even have a summer. So making the bolt boxes for the foundation pits. These are, I've numbered them all up. So for the different pad types, each one has a different bolt box. Basically we hang these off of this shuttering that we've made, fabricated some shuttering. We're going to hang these off, and the boys from NJC are here, the site engineers, surveyors. They've got a GPS coordinate system and a laser system as well, so they'll get the exact pinpoint accurate location of each of these centres for the bolts. So each of the bolt centres will have a coordinate, which is on a drawing which we sent to them, so they're just staking them out now, and we hang these boxes off the top of the frames on a bit of timber. So I'm just making the last of them up now. We've got probably another 5 or 6 to do. They're all cut to size. I've just got to drill the holes using these templates for the different type of base plates for the columns. So the end columns are these base plate 1. So we'll hang these bolt boxes in, pour concrete in, the concrete will set, then we'll take the bolts off the top of these boxes, take the timber off, and then the columns should just sit on top exactly where those bolts are. And because they're sat into cones, there's a bolt going through a cone, you've got a bit of wiggle room like that. Once it's set, you then pour some non-compressible grout into there so it gets nice and sturdy. So yeah, it's just, this is a really, really critical point. This is the first, well no, the drainage was fairly critical, but this is like probably the most critical thing we've done so far, getting these absolutely accurate. And so far we've set the first one and it's absolutely bang on. I drill part way through with these and then flip them over and drill part way through the other side, because otherwise all the wood gets stuck in the middle there and it's a pain in the backside to try and get it out. So that's the technique. It's my technique anyway, it's probably not right. Let me know in the comments if I'm drilling a hole wrong. So this is the makeup of the bolt and cone setup. So we've got 360 mil of bolt needs to go into the concrete, which is what all of the structural calcs have been based on. And the way it works is you put this little square plate washer on there, bang it through the cone like that. Bolt goes through the hole like that. Little washer on the other side, and you want to try and centre up the bolt with the cone so that you've got maximum manoeuvrability once the concrete's set. So if you imagine if we're ever so slightly out with the bolts where we've set them. Once the concrete's poured, if there's any heaving or the timber shuttering bows or anything like that, you can move that bolt around inside the cone, and it should give you enough flexibility to get the seat the column base on. So 22 of these to do, and we've got another 4 or 5 to do, and then sorted. So, yeah.
Nice. Done those before, or how did you find out how to do that?
Just make it up as I go along. A lot of Googling, a lot of talking to the structural engineer, a lot of talking to other people who've done it before. You'd like to think it's pretty straightforward. We live in an area where there's loads and loads of farmers, and they all, raise their own buildings. They're steel portal frame buildings. So a lot of them come here for servicing and MOTs and stuff to Vale Automotive, and obviously with Jip moving all the parts for John Deere, we know a lot of farmers, and they're sure to come and tell you exactly how they would do it. So yeah, I've got a good range of advice from people.
So welcome back to the foundation of building 1, and a Monday morning, which, quite often Monday mornings seem to turn into trouble, doesn't it? And it's not necessarily how you want to start your week. We've had heavy rain over the weekend, which has filled our beautifully set out foundation pads. So we are, chasing collapse of clay and heavy rainwater. We've got a new addition to the team. Ben's come to join us. Ben has his own landscaping business and garden design business, but he's come to give us a hand. So you'll see lots of Ben.
Yeah, I'm here to make sure things look nice and green at the end. Lots of trees, lots of planting.
So we've just got to wait a year or so for any of that.
But first, we're in the mud and the wet.
So we've been pumping out this morning. More to the point, Ben's been down in the hole. So this is the problem we're having. So we've created this shuttering and suspended our bolt boxes in the perfect position. So basically the footplate of the building is going to bolt to these bolts, and we're going to concrete that in. But what's been happening is this is pretty much how it should be. This is beautiful, except for the bottom wants to be back to hard clay, which we will remedy. But unfortunately, as you can see here, this is a disaster because this edge at the back particularly has all collapsed in. And we're going to have to work hard to remedy that. The problem is the timeline, because you need to have it ready to concrete, but you don't want to get it ready too much ahead of time because there's more chance of it falling back in again. So we're going to put some pegs in just in case we hit any shuttering when we're doing what we're doing. I'm just going to tidy it up and away we go.
How's your Monday morning going?
Fantastic, as you can see. Really enjoying it. We tried harder in school. British weather for you, eh?
Right. That is it. Is it going to be a long slog ahead today then?
There's lots of hand digging.
Yeah.
Remember what I said on Friday? Fridays always come together, really nice day. Monday's the opposite.
Back to square one.
Back to square one. Oh God.
Nick, how's your Monday morning going?
Oh, you know, I swear. Yeah, great.
Having fun?
I'm loving it, yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah,
You're
nice.
looking
Some messy.
well and truly camouflaged in mud.
Well and truly camouflaged in mud, yeah.
What you said to me earlier about after, you know, how much work you put in last week and seeing it
Yeah,
like
it was a
this.
good few days of it, and then Monday morning. It's alright. It'll probably cave in again tomorrow, so it's fine.
So Luke's not here today, but we are. We are currently filling our bolt boxes. I'll show you the perfect one.
Yeah.
Yeah, not talking about Ryan, no. So as you can see, these forms here, this set the height of the top of the foundation pad, and then we've got our bolt boxes suspended in there with our cones, and you can see, or you will see when we get on, these 6 bolts are all in a line. As you look up the run of them, they're all in a line. So this is one already done, and down the far end I'll not even show you because it's a bit wattery. We haven't watered anything up, it's just the way the mix is coming. This is FND4, which is a sulfite resistant concrete mix. Because you have sulfites, we have tested it, and we have sulfites in our clay here which attacks concrete. So we've had to have a special mix, which you can imagine is cheap. So yeah, there's another one ready to go. I'm lined up. We'll just keep going, filling them all in, topping them all off, and yeah, that's it. Easy. Funny old stuff, this FND4. You can see it's got a lot of additive in it. That's what you can see floating on it. Has to come very wet. Not very nice to deal with, to be honest. It's horrible. Still, tomorrow when all the shuttering's knocked off and it's all done, it'll look better. Hey up, mate.
Hey up, all right.
How's it going?
Day 2 of concrete and foundations
Day
then.
2 of, yeah, concrete. And hang on, I'll just mute my mic. Yeah,
How's it going? How was yesterday?
Yesterday was a nightmare.
Right.
It's raining. Yeah, it was a nightmare, but it's all right. It's okay. These things are sent to try us, aren't they? Positivity is the key to happiness. That's what they say. So we are pumping today because the weather's turned on us and we can't get access directly with the cement mixer. These chaps from Best Mix, from Colson Best Mix, pumping for us. And the wagon is just tipping, if you look behind you, directly into the concrete pumping machine. It's actually a really simple solution, the concrete pump. It's quite complex in execution, but basically there's a ram and it draws forward and then pushes it down the pipe, and there's this bit in the bottom of the hopper that swaps. Kieran switches it on. So that swaps on, and you can just see the end of it come down here when it comes back in a second. It swap. You see it there, and it will disappear in a sec. Did you see it come and go?
Yeah.
When it swaps over. So basically, it sucks it in, draws it in at one side, and then that bit swaps over, and then it pushes it down the pipe. But while that one's pushing it out, the other one's drawing it at the same time. It swaps over, and it just goes like that, and pushes it down and out. But literally thousands of psi of pressure, hundreds of bars of pressure.
Yeah, imagine it's heavy stuff.
Absolutely unbelievable. If you go like that, you can actually see the actual piston is there. That's doing it, and that's swapping backwards and forwards between them. Me and Curtis were saying, simple concept, but really complicated execution, really. And like all the clips on are dead easy with little rubber bands, but actually the whole point of it is.
I love it. Yeah, I want to be a concrete operator.
You want to be a pump specialist.
A pump specialist. I'm already there.
This is ideal pumping conditions, really, level ground, if not downhill. So, but this mix, we're still struggling with this mix, really. It's got so much cement in it. I feel like every time we've talked, I've said how horrendous it is, but I cannot stress this FND4. It's got so much cement in it. I mean, you can see the colour of it is really, really, very grey because it's got so much cement in it. I'll tell you something I didn't know that I learnt the other day was that this actually has ash in it, which is a byproduct of the construction industry or manufacturing industry. It used to be power plants, but there's not many coal-fired power plants anymore, but there are still industries in which make ash, and they mix that in as a substitute for cement, and it reduces the carbon footprint of the cement. You use less. So the actual mix of this, which we've got, which we could put on screen, couldn't we, has actually got a percentage amount, I can't remember how much percent it is, of ash in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, going green, very good.
Oh, we're always going green, aren't we? Everything we do is trying to be as green as possible.
Yeah.
So, within the bounds of possibilities. We've got a drain pipe over there, which you can see is also tied in. Look, with that black bag on to the left. So that's an actual rainwater down pipe that's going to be by the foundation in order to go out. And yeah, so we pump the concrete in. We've got reinforcing in the bottom. We pump it in level with the top of the shutter, and then the boys rake it dead level and tamp it, and we poker it, and yeah, that's it. If you put your hand on it, Luke, you can feel it.
Can I stand?
Yeah.
God. Oh wow.
Feel how warm it is?
Yeah.
So that's a exothermic chemical reaction that's making that heat, and that's part of the curing process. Just knocking the framework off, the shutter in, and our bolts are hopefully in exactly the right position. I've just knocked these nuts off, and in a second I'm going to unscrew it and lift it off, and there will be a moment of truth by which we'll see how beautiful they are in these cones, and you can actually see how they work. I'm hoping to try and save as much of this woodwork as we possibly can. And the screws even, if we can. It's all so expensive. But you should see in a sec, when I lift this off, I know the reveal's the wrong way. Yeah, so these are our bolt holes, look, and our cones. So if you look here, look. So these are our wax cones. And they basically have created a perfect cone. And then what you can do is these will actually move that much. So you've got that much play in order to get it absolutely spot on.
Ev, a few comments on how you feel having put these together and taken them apart. Is it as you intended?
Ollie asked me yesterday, he was like, are you happy? And I said, I will be happy when the frame is up and level and finished. But yeah, I mean...
Too soon to tell is the answer.
Too soon to tell. I've been hurt before. You don't want to be prematurely excited, so to speak. But yeah, it was certainly satisfying seeing it. One thing is, I think for next time when we do them, it's all right getting the bolts in the the bolts in the right place, but the cones underneath, they've got room to move underneath the board, so they're not always exactly square. So I think probably just take a bit more time to square the cones up underneath next time. But it's really hard when the concrete's flowing in; it knocks them out anyway. So maybe do a bit more research and just see how we can put a little disc in there. Yeah. I just thought that.
Little concrete, little wooden disc to locate them when we do the other building. Maybe.
Yeah.
That'll be the perfect.
Perfect solution. But yeah, no. Generally speaking, really happy. It was you've probably already covered it, but it was a bit of a day yesterday. The concrete mix was all.
But we're not negative.
Over the place, but no, we're not negative at all.
Well, may I be the first to say congratulations on strong foundations, boys.
Is that the closing tagline, is it? Have you been waiting to use that?
That just came to me, Evan.
You've had it in the bank
What
for
can I say,
ages,
I'm a marketing machine.
I was listening to Foundations by Kate Nash yesterday while we were doing this. It's all about cracks in foundations though, isn't it? It's not ideal.
Building might come today.
Really?
The next couple of days.
Wow.
Next week possibly. So that'll be an exciting moment. We've had it all painted black, so it'll be a nice uniform colour all ready to go. The problem is, because it's second hand and we've had it painted, it's all going to be in a funny order, so there's going to be a big montage opportunity, I think, for lots of organising with the forklift. We might even get a few Christ Alives out of Evan.
Quite possibly, he'll be bleeping a lot out, I think. We've had...
Who's on the telehandler for this one then?
That'll be Ollie Blake. Yeah. These Blake builds, not Lark it up. So.
That is a model of what we wanted to achieve, as you can see here. Look how wonderful. Beautifully highlighted soldiers are sat in there like that. Awesome.
Bellissimo.
Yeah, look, you see, look, he's smiling. Get him. So you see here, Evan's actually using a vibrating poker.
Is this too loud?
No, you cut off. No.
What's that do then?
He's not used to dealing with such a big tool, but he's all right. What? I said you're not used to dealing with such a long tool normally, are you?
I was telling the boys yesterday that I went into Screwfix to pick it up and there was a queue of people And they were like, I was like, oh, I've got a collection for Lark. And they were like, is it the vibrator? I was like, yeah, that's me. The 1.2 metre long vibrator.
So this is a vibrating poker. So the end of this is vibrating, and it's actually pushing all the bubbles out and the water, some of the water content, out of the concrete, and basically it just shakes everything, levels everything off, brings all the air to the top, and that means that it's a consistent all the way through. Because what you can have is pockets of air trapped in it. So you need to bring them to the top. There are additives you can put in it that help that. This will have an additive in it to help that. But yeah, if you want it to be completely solid and perfect, you need to poker it. So Evan's doing a bit of pokering.
How's this for you, Luke?
Give us a good rogering.
You have to subscribe to the BIR OnlyFans for this content.
He'll pay good money.
Make a comment. Just show us the end. Show us your end, mate.
Buy me a drink first.
It's your end, mate. So that is the vibrating end. If Ev vibrates it, you should see it. Can you actually see it pulsing? Look. Oh. Do a real good close up. Cool. So that is a vibrating poker. And basically you poke stuff and vibrate it. We're specifically giving it plenty of poking around the bolt boxes because we don't want clumps of air around where those cones are. So
Ben was saying that there's some sort of metric that that they did whereby they say that the amount of air you get out of it strengthens the concrete by X amount. So, but I mean, this is an extraordinarily strong mix anyway.
is it? This project seems to be filled with things that are extraordinarily different. The concrete people say they've never really made this mix before. So ever, FND4. So I think you can guarantee that we would have that.
Makes
Wouldn't
sense,
we?
yeah.
That would make complete sense.
It's not going anywhere though, is it?
No.
Nice and sturdy.
No. I can't describe, I don't know if you can capture it on film, just how satisfying it is to stand here like that. And I don't know if you can quite capture it on film, but look how beautiful they are in a line. Can you see them?
Next wagon load along with
Yeah. Oh, for
So
goodness sake.
I'll sort them out if you want to.
What do you want?
I don't want anything. I've got my oats.
Got a sandwich?
No, I've got
a drink, Lucasade or something?
No. I've got to be better.
Chocolate bar?
No. Yeah, chocolate bar. Please.
What would you like?
Mars bar if they got one, please.
Next time on Blake Builds. There's a storm coming. Electrical storm.
Blake builds, every day's a school day, and that's okay.